ate me some dinner. Uh, was going through my notes, and someone has sent me something I'm going to be talking about tonight. But someone has sent me something. I've been listening to it, and it was aired back about 8 years ago. But I wanted to talk to you about some statistics that we have been talking about. I want to make sure I'm giving you those accurate numbers. Uh, let's go with Lima first because that's the statistic I gave, and I want to make sure I'm very accurate because I said 94% above the national average. And actually, Lima, Ohio has 4,127 incidents per 100,000 people, which is a 95% above the national average. This is our Speaker of the House's hometown, Republican Party. Now, the state. Now, when you hear this here, this is going to make you, it's going to blow your mind. The state, oh my God, you guys are 124% above the state average in Little Lima, Ohio, in crime. I think it's about 758 per 100,000 residents in violent crime. And I believe you all have a little higher rate there in property crime. But violent crime for a small town like that, and you got a House Speaker from that hometown, it's not good business. I want to share another statistic with you because we are talking about Ohio, right? So in Ohio, we have 11,000 enlisted military and 35,000 in the National Guard. That's a lot of military people in Ohio. We have 13 military veterans serving in the House of Representatives, which makes up about 12.88% of the state's legislature. Now, we've cleared them statistics that we had talked about. We didn't have those direct number. I wanted to give that to you because I'm about transparency. And if I make a mistake, I want to come back and correct it. So you got those statistics. It's not actually 94%. It's 95% above the national average in Lima, Ohio for our Republican House Speaker, which rounds up to be about 4,127 incidents per 100,000 people in Little Lima. But that doesn't include the 124% above the national average of crime in Lima, Ohio. And we have a sitting Speaker of the House of the Republican Party, hometown, has more crime than you would see in the city the size of maybe Springfield, Dayton, or maybe even Columbus. I don't know. We talking about these Republicans. So I'm not really worried about what's going on. I'm just giving you those statistics and coming back with that. 11,000 enlisted military in Ohio, 35,000 enlisted National Guard, 13 military vets serving on the House of Representatives, which makes up a little over 12.88% in the state's legislature. Now we got the statistic out the way. Let's get to the good part. According to Ohio law, we'll talk about you sex offenders tonight for a little bit. Namely clergy. But we're going to talk about all of it. And I'm going to give you my feelings on how I feel about sex offenders and the hypocrisy that the Pentecostal Mecca has displayed in what I've researched based on what their policy is and the wordplay that they use to allow criminals to go free within the Pentecostal Mecca, Mason Street. Now, in Ohio, we have 21,465 registered sex offenders. That means that's 182 registered sex offenders per 100,000 residents in the state of Ohio. Let's go a little deeper. Now, I'm not going to give you the definition of this word, but I'm going to show you the word play that the grand old uses to allow criminals to run free and violate our children of all races. How do you use the word autonomy? And how do you say that the local church has autonomy? And I got to slide this in, but y'all steal people's property. So if you have autonomy, that means you have no control of what they do, right? And you don't have power to do the shit y'all been doing, right? Oh, so for a clergy in the Church of God in Christ, based on ARC system requirements, people that are registered and convicted of sexual crime, namely children, are not permitted to pastor. The state law doesn't have that. They have a cushion for you sex offenders and rapists and child molesters. They have a loophole for you because now they want to use the law of separate church and state. You know, they don't mind locking you up for finance fraud in the church, but they let you go rape people's kids in the church and then say church and state. Ain't that weird? Wording. Now, Ohio does have this stipulation in their law, hidden neatly tucked away. So does Church of God in Christ. But if you choose to employ a sexual offender, like you did in Cincinnati and Hamilton, Ohio, with Bruce Curtis, elder, pastor Bruce Curtis, there's supposed to be insurance limits. There's supposed to be conditional agreements between the leadership, the church, the membership, and an insurance company. Yeah, we talking facts here. Y'all want to talk about that. Then there's a little list here. Listen to this. Listen to this wording. Listen to this wording. Rogue bishops or local boards have shielded or failed to properly vet their pastors. The broader denomination's mandate to protect parishioners are considered unauthorized. You say, why are you talking about that? Because when I came back to the Church of God in Christ, I had to go through the ARC system. I had to get a background check. I had to get a certificate that I successfully passed a sexual misconduct class in the event that the devil would tempt me to do something crazy, that I took that class and I'm held accountable for that. I got a certificate from the ARC system from the National Church. And then they issued me a national membership certificate, put on my wall in my sanctuary. I usually kept it in my office, in my home office when I had a home. And all my credentials and everything would be on my wall, pictures of the leaders of the church, different things like that. And then your clergy ID number in Church of God in Christ matches your membership certificate, which validates you as a pastor in good standing within the denomination. But instead, we allow the registered sex offenders in our great state of Ohio to speak in tongues, still be around kids, still teach Sunday school, YP, still have youth programs, probably sliding your hand under these kids' skirts still, because that person was a member of your church. You told everybody that you were set up, right? But you're a registered sex offender. Bruce Curtis. And George Carter is your leader. It was told to me by one of the pastors in that said jurisdiction that after I requested to be temporarily appointed in the mother church, they sent Bruce Curtis over there, a registered sex offender, to the mother church. of Ohio Southern Ecclesiastical Jurisdiction, the Church of God in Christ Incorporated. And that came from a department head, Tony Smith, Superintendent Tony Smith, the same backdooring devil that backdoored his leader in my face, put a handful of money in my pocket. The leader had just been appointed as a designee, preached his first official setting after Mark's demise, and offered him a steak dinner. On the way home from Cleveland, offered my friend of 40 years half the money that was given to me. He refused it. I got a hard goal, but now still. And got some more statistics I want to talk to you about. So we deal with stuff here. I tell you all the time when I get off lives, I get emails, my subscribers go up. It's slow for the poll. But transparency, consistency, boldness, fearlessness, starting to wake people the fuck up. While I'm looking up these statistics, when I was talking about you paternal men earlier, my groceries were coming. I had to eat some dinner. I was able to enjoy me some roast and carrots and potatoes and had me a cold little soda. And been listening to Elijah Hankerson here talk about you sex offenders in Church of God in Christ. Yeah, this is one of your Brazilian men. I've been listening to it. It's a good piece. 2017. Shout out. I wanted you to sue me, Elijah Hankers, because I've been talking about you too, but it's a good piece you did. I think it was aired in December 2017, 8 years ago. And he was over the evangelist department then, I believe. I was still pastor. And this is Elijah. Joint board member out of Missouri. Yes, it is. But we'll turn him down.
If he would mistreat and misuse the people of God and go and sleep with God's sheep, go and sleep with someone that is not your spouse. Use the church as your personal harem. Shame on you. You ought to repent.
Remember I was telling you all the other day about McDonald's? And, if you go to McDonald's here, I'm going to use a different city now, but if you go to the McDonald's in Dayton and then you drive 2.5 hours down the road, hit Indiana border, get down to Indiana, that Big Mac just tastes the same, right? I don't hear too many Joan board members preaching like that, teaching like that. He's not even preaching. He's in the restaurant teaching, in the restaurant eating a dinner, teaching. That was 8 years ago, though. So Blake had to be in leadership then. But what I'm trying to figure out is, how do you all let this stuff go on in your church and get mad when people talk about you? Now, when I was talking about you paternal man, while I'm looking this up, and I was talking about how you got church people that are part of the craft, part of the order, but when they get around their institutional friends, it's a cult because they don't wear their rings or nothing. I pastored in a Pentecostal church. And everybody knows most Pentecostals, they're not down with the Masonic order. But I wore my rings in meetings. I didn't give a damn because I ain't ashamed. And I feel like whatever you do, you ought to be proud of it. And you got to wear it with pride. You shouldn't be hiding shit. You're supposed to be the light of the world. When the church fails, the Mason's supposed to pick up the slack. Y'all didn't know that? Y'all been traveling 10, 15, 20, 30 years and didn't know that? That the Masonic order in the church is really supposed to be like a marriage almost. They should be walking hand in hand, helping, because we all after the same goal, cleaning up good men, making them better men, getting them out here, doing what we're supposed to be doing for our communities. Oh, but we drink. But, I drink at home. I don't do the bars. I never went to a cabaret. When I was at Ezekiel Lodge number 4 as a chaplain, I came in as a preacher, see. I was immediately appointed as a chaplain. And people feared me and they respected me. You don't believe it? Ask anybody back in the 90s, early, middle 2000s, when they saw Fanbro walk out that damn 867, I wouldn't even go in the brick while they were serving alcohol. See? I wasn't drinking. I smoked cigarettes, but no one knew about it. Right? Because I had to carry myself in a certain vein. And when people would be cussing and swearing and talking foul like I'm doing right now, and they see me walk on the scene, they would scatter. You don't believe it? Reference check. Carl Coleman, Anthony Barrett, Raleigh. Who else was in the lodge back then? Rest his soul, Matthew Benson. I wish you could talk to him. I wish you could talk to the men from Successful in St. James. Right? Yeah. See, I don't just talk that talk. I walk that walk. And people knew when Fanbro came on the scene, it wasn't no games to be played, especially when we're dealing with business. Lectures would be going on during the COVID time, and we do them on the video. And you got guys in there talking about they part of Royal Arch and couldn't even spit stuff out their mouth. And real Ezekiel men, your speech betray you. People knew when Ezekiel was on the scene, Fanbro was on the scene, and you heard certain terminologies. People knew that was either coming from me, Anthony Barrett, or James Coleman. I sit in the South, Anthony Barrett sit in the West, James Coleman sit in the East. See what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the real Ezekiel. And I'm part of the real Ezekiel. The split shit, I don't know what y'all doing. And even though the other side left, that is the real Ezekiel. Those men that's over there, that's the real Ezekiel over there. I don't know what Tyrone Montgomery got going on over here with these clowns over here. You know. Rules are set in place to be followed, namely in the Masonic order. Old rules. And then give you the authority to pick and choose what rules you choose to follow because you took an oath. And you men ought to be ashamed as colored masons in this state. And I'm here to tell you, I ain't ashamed to tell you, you ought to be ashamed. I don't know no other state you can go to with 2 grand lodges with the same damn name. I don't know of it. Now back to what we talking about. That's every now and then I get sparked up. Well, what I'm trying to figure out is looking for this certain information. Looking for this information. Mm-hmm. You know did you know that Decisions? You remember a song about a wine that's called Decisions? Or was it an album? Was it an album, I think, called Decisions. Y'all ever listen to that album? But you know what's so good about that word decision? You know what come after decision? Consequence. Either we're able to make decisions. We've been liberated to make choices. You have a choice, to make choices in life. And then you have something else that you can't choose called consequence. You know what I find odd about haters, trollers, backstabbers, liars, people that backdoor people? You know what I find funny? It's all fun when the peanut guy is behind you cheering you on and it seems like you making progress. Your heart don't even skip beats. You sleep sound. When people make decisions and make comments like, you don't know nothing about the game called Resurrection. And then 5 years later, a person resurrects. I told you I'm in the numbers. 5 represents grace and favor. 7 is God's perfect number. I'm going to get to that 3 too. We're gonna put it all together. We're gonna break it down for you. Meet me in July if you a Masonic man. We're gonna break down that 357 for you, get you a better understanding of a way you've never heard it before. Uh, I got the wrong book. I think I got that. You know, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Oh, here's that note I made last year. Yeah. Let me say this. Excuse me, real quick. Hey, Miss Jennifer Gross. Uh, just to better show you, I called you. In your number 644-2016. Area code 614. It's old ink, so you can tell this. Ain't that you, Jennifer Gross? Ain't that you? Joint Medical Oversight Chair. Ain't that you? Yeah, that's you. Tim Barhurst, District 85. Didn't I call you? You check your voicemail too. 466-1507 last year. Andrea White, District 36, Republican. Did I call you? Oh, John Williams. Did I call you? 466-1418, District 44. You see them listed name? Oh, yeah. I know it might sound kind of weird to you, but I keep a professional diary on the notes that I take. If anybody would be transparent with you, I don't do that, uh, just to have like for blackmail. But I've had so much brain trauma in the last 12, 13 years that I have short-term memory loss. So the people that would lie and say I'm talking to myself, I would talk out loud to remind myself. I would always rehearse what I would say before I would go on the phone, because in mid-sentence, my mind would just go blank. People thought that was funny, though. That's a condition that's in my medical records. I got little CAT scans and stuff like that. I got more white matter spreading over my brain. So instead of people being concerned, they say I'm playing victim and all this and that. Yeah. Well, now y'all victims of this wrath that's coming y'all's way. It's been coming y'all's way for 4 years. You just didn't feel it. Mm-hmm. I wanted to say this to you because I can't find what I'm looking for. I don't believe in rambling and wasting people's time. Thomas Hall, District 46, did I call you? Adrian Holmes, did I call you? Yeah, I got all this list, a whole book full of Republicans. I got a whole book of Democrats I called too. Yeah. Hey, OC, wasn't this your old number? 614-623-3805. Bishop Emmanuel Theophilus Sumner. Wasn't that an old number you had about 20 years ago? I wish people can trace that. When your wife's old number 614-517-9047. I got a book of life here. Yeah, that's you. Here's the note. All right. We talked about this one day, but my feed broke off and I couldn't talk about it because I didn't have my notes in front of me. Now, and we talked about the sons of Sceva. They presumed they could wield some power without real fruit. You remember them? Yeah. I want to create a word for you tonight. Secondhand faith. That's the decision consequence stuff I'll be talking to y'all about. Secondhand faith. Thrift store faith. You know what I mean? Bootleg faith. You ever heard your mom and them say, don't let them nigger rig your car, don't let them boot rig your car. Yeah, that's the kind of faith that some of y'all got. Y'all got that secondhand bootleg thrift store faith, and y'all think that y'all can throw y'all's staffs down, and you can throw you can throw your poles and stuff down, they turn into snakes. That's magic. But when Moses and Aaron threw their rod down, they ate the other ones up, didn't they? Can I tell my story? Okay. Uh I remember I tell people I strategically line people up that have displayed some kind of false narrative of holiness. I'm gonna give you a scenario, and I want to see if this makes sense to anybody that got common sense. Because some people got sense, you know what I mean? Street sense, political sense, religious sense, sweet sense, sour sense, but they don't have common sense. You know what I mean? Let me give you a scenario. And let's just make a general statement about religion in general. Church, we're not going to talk about Memphis. We're just going to say general. Any Bible believer. Okay. If you have a meeting and it's on video and you expose somebody and you had a relationship with this person for a long time, and then you go on camera, because I'm very on the record type of guy. I have a disposition for each setting that I'm in. You know what I mean? If I'm in a country bar, I'm with the country folk. If I'm in the hip hop, you got to be a chameleon. You got to blend in with your surroundings. If I'm in a jazz club, I'm doing a jazz thing. If I'm in folk rock, I'm with the folk rock thing. If I'm doing bluegrass, blues, that's the mode I'm moving. Make sense? And then you go on record and you say, "Hey, is there any blemishes on the record under 3 administrations? Can you show that?" And you get the people at the powers that be sitting at that table on the video, and the officials look and they say, "No, sir, elder. No, sir, pastor." And then you turn to the other official and you say, "Can you confirm for the record what was just said by the secretary of this said situation?" And that person say, "No." And then the person that's, trying to be cocky come on the screen, and then they had to tell that man to shut up because he was trying to lie. And then they let him talk and he ended up telling a lie. And then you push a button on your phone. Ain't technology a beautiful thing? And you push the button on the phone and it flips the camera around and everything is seen. And people's eyeballs get big like he really wasn't lying. And then every door or every pit hole that you fill with dirt so that the person that you care about so much doesn't fall in that ditch, and then you use the resources that you have to make things available for this person, you know what I mean? While homeless, while sick, while struggling, and then this same person that you have kept from snares pushes you out the way, and everyone that was against him put in position, including registered sex offenders. And then you have a disrespect for the history of the said establishment and institution in which you say you serve all your life. Somebody got a birthday coming up in August. I'll let you figure out who that is. I got a surprise for you on your birthday, sir. I won't call you another yellow bastard no more. I'll just call you sir from here on out. Because for somebody to be so goddamn tough and a veteran, you sure are a coward. And your wife is a coward. And your brother-in-law, Cornelius Hookman, is a coward. And the former whore, Connie Hookman, is a coward. Because allegedly that's your ex-lover. Now clap back on that since you didn't show up the last time, Connie Mac. Matter of fact, have Paul come. I told you to send your husband. Because I don't really want to disrespect you as a woman. But since your husband's a coward and you subscribe to my channel and talk stupid to me, first thing you did wrong is you called me a Democrat. So that further lets me know you don't know a goddamn thing about me. because I'm not a Democrat. One. Two, you spoke out of turn. And I told you before you came, get your husband, Paul, to confront me. See, because you out of line. And then when I read your ass up one side and down the other, and the comments are still there of what you left on my goddamn channel, you never responded and you didn't show up, and I waited for you for 28 minutes on my live. That's how you Church of God in Christ both do. Y'all throw a lot of darts, but when the darts bounce off and fall, and the Lord put life in the dart and then come back at y'all's ass, then y'all do damage control. So if you can tell me that while my former friend was married and you were in that said jurisdiction at that time, married to my former friend's wife's brother, you mean tell me you wasn't kissing George Carter? Because he admitted to me that he did. I want to hear what you got to say. Now, I don't know about the fucking part. He denied that, but he was fucking Renee Brown. Perry's widow. And you same motherfucker to act like you didn't know Renee when Mark introduced you to. Matter of fact, what I was told, your heart dropped because you still in love with Renee. But you treat Renee like a whore. And she proved herself to be one. That's not alleged. Those are facts. And you wonder why the woman never wanted to receive you. And you're lucky that FB wasn't living, because Mark wouldn't even married you. First of all, you apostolic, and FB wasn't going to have it. I know that for a fact. So you can miss me with that. But I got you with this. And the news has you all. Hear me? 5 years ago. Offered you grace. I told you, George. And Rambo. Robert Jones, that's his name. Rambo, I told you. Have George call me. You have a conversation. I went on live and apologized to you, and you didn't even deserve an apology because you fucked me every which way but loose. But I've been slowly fucking you, and you didn't even know it. Your birthday coming in August. I want to see if you enjoy this gift I have for you, sir. Mr. Veteran. Mr. High Pedophiles. In the historical Ohio South. And I told you and I told Emmett, when God spin the block, and now this heat's under Drew Shear, the next leader is not going to allow, and again he might, the next leader might have to call that board and run them numbers, because you don't have them. Northwest don't either. Remember I told you, Church of God in Christ, they return old favors. Have you not forgotten? Whenever the new leadership take realm and they got something against a said jurisdiction, don't you think plants don't get planted? And next thing you know, that jurisdiction is what? Dissolved. Now, I want to see if Emmett remembers this statement I gave to him. And then I'm going to quit talking about the Church of God in Christ. But this is business and it's serious. And this is not a slight. This is not a disrespect. This is real. You are now the pastor of Cathedral. The National Church has a spotlight on them in the tune of $250 million. You pastor a church, and then you wonder why you was appointed. That is collateral. And if they need money and assets, don't you think that they won't put your ass out and sell that property to cover losses? Because there's some other reporting that's out on Drew Shear. as we speak. And I'll let you find it. But I've already watched it. And based on the information that I have, and based on the wording that a certain official has leaked out, probably not even realizing what they leaked out, you have put your presiding prelate, chief apostle, on the hot plate, which will soon be a skillet. Shout out to that seasoned church mother that prayed during the women's convention. And mother, you were right. They have been scamming. And we know y'all don't know the way they'll go. And I just happened to wake up this morning and turned on the creator, and they were talking about Jushir might as well, like I said the other day, joined up with the Assemblies of God. They just gave you an honorary doctorate degree. So you might as well going back with them. You now got credentials from your adversary. Things that make you go, Back to the statistics. Now I just want to know back what I was saying, fraternal men's in church, they're supposed to work like this. Because when the church gets weak, the fraternal men should come around as a board of protection. Because in the old days, a lot of the lodges that didn't have buildings was having their meetings in the church. You find more Baptist Masons probably anywhere, but that's the way it used to be. I'm not that old. I've just heard the stories to remember that far back. I'm old, but I'm not that seasoned like that. But it is what it is. I'm going to give you those statistics, and I promised you them. And again, my deepest apologies to the Ayers family of Clark County. I think Mr. Randy is still assistant coach at the Phoenix Suns. I think he is. And but it was Tim Ayers that was the commissioner and mayor of Springfield, and it was Ohio State that settled with Randy. I think Randy was assistant coach. I think I misspoke and said head coach. But it's awful funny. A lot of shit went on during that time when Tim was the mayor and commissioner in Springfield, and some shit was going on down there at Ohio State during that time, like controversy and shit. They try to blame it on his performance. My hat's off to you, Mr. Ayers. You're a Buckeye. You are from Ohio, and I'm happy for you. Congratulations on your success. I don't know what Tim is doing right about now, but my hat's off to you. Good job. Good job. Job well done. So when I get this strength and stuff back, and I start doing these lectures, I'm going to be talking about a little bit of everything. We're going to talk about some degree work. We're going to be talking about the fundamental values, Freemasonry. We're going to be talking about, and we'll be talking about PHO. We're going to be talking about the compact. We're going to be talking about the history, how and why we've lost our grip in this region as far as Freemasonry. And then we're going to go through a little bit of Robert's Rule of Order. We're going to go through a little bit of parliamentary procedure. We're going to go through a little bit of how to run your lodges. We're going to define each seat. We're going to talk about the rotation process in the lodge. We're going to talk about how to form grand lodges. We're going to talk about how to carry yourself while under dispensation. And we're going to talk about Masonic law and consequence. And last but not least, we'll touch a little bit about Cowans and eavesdroppers. We'll always start out with Cowans, and we'll always end with eavesdroppers in these lectures. And that's going to start shortly after the 4th of July weekend. It is not an open session. It is for those that have the passwords to the said degrees in which we'll be lecturing on. And if you're not traveling, it's not open to the public. It's going to be Masonic training classes. And maybe we can get some guys that's not enlightened in your ritual work and in your community work and what it is to be a colored Mason in the state of Ohio. We're going to talk about that. And the good Lord has blessed me with the knowledge and experience to be able to expound on these things. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what rings to wear and when you shouldn't wear. We're going to talk about what to and how to, because if you don't know how, then you can't be held accountable. But once you are enlightened, then you are definitely accountable. Okay. So we're going to talk about those things. And then we're going to see if we can spark some fire and allow some of you traveling men to do better. Because you can't make nobody better if you're not better. And that's why you have to ask one to be one. We don't recruit. We don't pocket people's monies. There is a procedure when you hand over monies and exchange monies with your brother. It's called paperwork, receipt. Okay. So, last but not least, I hate to really keep bringing this fool up, but I have to bring his name up because he's stupid. Lamar Hammock, for you to be so goddamn smart and for you to talk so much shit about me and call me a miserable, crying old man, and for someone to be so goddamn unworthy, you sure are faithful to send me emails from your bogus ass lodge every goddamn month for dues. First of all, you contradict yourself so goddamn much. I would never pay dues again to Ezekiel. I'm a past master. So why would I be paying dues to Ezekiel 4 when I'm a past master of Eli 1? You forgot about that? Your mind. You see this right here, Lamar Hammer? This is our 20-year-old jacket. Okay? Do you see anywhere on this jacket that say Ezekiel? No, that says what it says. This don't say Ezekiel. Just so people can be transparent. This is not a brand new coat that I just had stuff put on. This is old smoke stain. I had this coat when I lived in German Village. So I don't understand how a double-minded man can speak on and expound on things they have no knowledge of. You new to the game, sir. You new to the game. Very new compared to my travel. You don't have it in here to be able to approach me on no level. When I embarrassed you on that live and just let you run your mouth and put all them comments down there, and I shot you that goddamn letter from your sitting eminent commander, proving you to be a damn liar and a fool, and start producing that paperwork of what I had. But you want to be stupid. So when I get my strength back and I start doing these classes, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised by making an example. And I go outside of these boundaries into another situation and form a grand lodge. Don't be surprised. You like politics? I'm qualified to do it. Could have been a grandmaster by now if I chose to be. Those are never my aspirations. But if I have to prove a point, I have no problem doing it. I got many letters that have opened the doors to receive me. I'm a loyalist. I'm PHO. I'm part of the compact till I die. Because for this state to have so many upright men, I don't see none of you. And I dare say about 90% of you are Democrat. I don't hear none of y'all clapping back publicly on your party and nobody else's party. Y'all selling tickets to go to a party. So don't be contrite. Get upright. See, that's all you gotta do. You know, it's really hard to do wrong. It's easy to do right. But if it ain't in your heart, and then when you first became a Mason in your heart, if it ain't in your heart, no matter what come out your mouth, if your heart is bad, ain't nothing that you do that you claim is good is really good. It's all counterfeit. So if you got an evil heart, except the Lord build a house, the labor that build in vain. So you can't build no type of house, church house, regular house, no house, blue house, red house, no house. You can't build no house, namely in the Masonic order, if you don't put the higher power first. I'm a firm believer when you get in the way, things go astray. And that's why I had to take my hands off and do like Carrie Underwood and say, Jesus, take the wheel. And he took it. And now I'm on cruise control. From now on, it's going to be smooth sailing. That's Freddie Jackson, nice and slow. I'm coasting along. Join the ride. Come on. Take this void with me. Subscribe. If you like sharing and subscribing, tell your friends, hey, you got a knucklehead over here, but this brother telling the truth. I wish I had my teeth so I can eat me a Baby Ruth. I love Baby Ruths. I do. Can't chew peanuts no more. Like, share, and subscribe. Got a revolutionist in town. Got a revolutionist running through this state. I'm taking names. I ain't playing no games. I'm giving you some substance here. You might not like the method. You might not like my strategic methods. You might not like the antic, but you can't deny the message. You can deny the messenger. You can even rebut the color of my skin. Because, you get some folks, they're listening to somebody else, but as long as you got dark skin like me, they ain't going to pay attention to you. That's fine. I'm just a messenger. But you see, I'm just a mailman. I deliver the mail. I do what the boss tell me to do. I just do it. And when I learn to let him do it, and I just sit back and watch, this is the end result. Gurgling in water in the Red Sea. Silence. Crickets. I use an analogy and I'm going to let you go. David, the shepherd boy, was a small, frail little boy. Big guy come up the road one day, call him a punk. He's going to beat him down, going to kill him. He's an OG named Goliath. OG came in and told David, say, I'm going to tear your ass up. And everybody around him would tear up. David said, oh, really? David reached in his pocket, looked in his hand, Had 5 smooth stones. He took 4 and put them in his left pocket. Kept that one, put it in the sling. He's just sitting there whistling. OG still running his mouth. Big ugly motherfucker. Come upon David, the shepherd boy. David took them 5 smooth stones, put the 4 in his left pocket. Not only did he defeat Goliath, cut off his head. You said, why did I give you that analogy? I'm going to tell you. Because if you're an upright man and you violate your worthy brother, you know the penalties of your obligation if you violate it. If you don't know, that means you're not proficient. You need to get in that ritual. Go through your obligation. Go through your signs. Revisit those tokens. And then you tell me what happens when you violate a worthy brother, not only by ritualistic work, but by Masonic law. You define that. And if you don't get an answer, then you're good as guilty. You need to be penalized for your violation. You can't even go in the street in a gang and do something stupid and not get violated and have a consequence for your action. And you will. Soon and very soon, you will see the king. Soon and very soon. The Lord said his spirit don't always strive with man. Mine don't either. So if you didn't know, now you know. So go ahead and get your shit packed up. Because if you see my face again, and you got on some light, and I grip you, and you can't go up that ladder where I want to go, I'm taking your shit. And I don't need an entourage. You worthy? When you see me, I'm not even going to speak. I'm going to grip you. And we're going to go up that goddamn ladder. And I stop when I feel like you suffered enough, when I've tested your brain and your proficiency. And let's see who looks like the joke. And we're going to do it on live. I want to catch you live, unexpected, and grip your ass up. Told you I'm in any money mo phase. Just know I'm coming. I can't come to your grand session. I can't come into your lodges. Let me catch you on the street, put that light on, and you not be able to utter your words out of your mouth. Verbatim. You don't do no paraphrasing when you chest it. I want to know if you've been reading. I want to know if you've been following and studying to show yourself approved. Because I do a whole bunch of talking and marching and don't know shit. We're going to find out what you know. Come to them classes. I'm trying to give you an olive branch on what's going to happen. You come to them classes and learn. I'm going to remember you. I'll never forget a face. Names I don't give a damn about, but I'll never forget a face. Once I see your face again, I'll remember your name. But I'm coming. Yep. And then we're going to find out who is who and what is what. Take care of yourself and each other. Thought I wasn't going to cuss you out, and I didn't. I did a good job. Thank God. Can you get a couple likes for that and a couple new subscribers for not cussing nobody out tonight? And being semi-smiling. Can I get a little bit of that? appreciate that. I thank you for what you've been doing. Thank you for how you've been sharing. You've been liking it. You've been subscribing. We are over 400. We are over 400. And I'm happy for that. I'm faithful for these few subscribers I got that are faithful and loyal to come to me. The lives are getting more attention. People are watching the live. They're clicking over 1,000 views. That's a lot for me. They're clicking over 600, 500, 400. The shorts is picking up. People are looking and observing. People are inboxing and communicating, having dialogue. People are inboxing me, asking questions. We responding. Transparency is yet remaining. Consistency yet remaining. Everything we've been talking about has come to fruition. We have not cowered out under pressure. We have got even bolder under pressure. You ought to be proud that you have a representative in Ohio, non-political when it comes to, uh, you know, I don't discriminate. You wrong, you wrong. You need to enlighten, you need to enlighten. And I can't lie to you and say it ain't personal. It is very personal. But I appreciate you subscribers. I appreciate that. I appreciate the inbox. I appreciate the respect. I did get some hecklers and people used to act crazy. That's a reason why I cut my comments off. I'm doing lengthy lives because anybody know me know if I see something in the corner of my eye and it sounds crazy, and I go in and I forget the context, and then my whole shit be fucked up. So I'll just be trying to do that, and then when I do turn the comments off, I'm fellowship with my subscribers to take the time out to see me, hear me, and view me. I appreciate you. We are in the great state of Ohio. Come on this voyage and this journey with me. I ain't nobody important. I'm just Brother D. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm not trying to sell you. But if you break the law, my goal is to jail you. Take care of yourself and each other is my prayer. I love you, and even you, red and yellow, black and white. We all precious in this sight. Let's just hope that we can sleep tonight without getting no bad news. And the death angel will stay away just for one day. Is that okay? I love you and I appreciate you. And I want you to know better so you can do better. Stay enlightened. Like, share, and subscribe. It's free. Courtesy of Brother D. And thank you for letting me be me. I love you. Peace out.